It's February 2nd. We're in Black History Month 2023. For us in Triple Nickel, super important. I thought that we really take the month of February and really just buckle down on telling Alwyn's story and the facets of it and really expanding his legacy with through all the mediums that we have. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Your brother is the only African-American to have received the Medal of Honor since the Vietnam War. What is that like for your family to have somebody of that stature being your brother, being a family member, and the only one in the country?
Well, it's sad but bittersweet. I'm ecstatic, proud, over the moon, whatever you want to call it, that he was finally recognized. It, as you know, it took a long while. It was a 16-year journey from beginning to end till presentation of the Medal of Honor to my sister-in-law. That was 16 years from when he passed in 2005. So we're proud. I'm a little bit in awe of the fact that he's the first, because I know what it took for my family to get his Silver Star upgraded to the Medal of Honor. So I'm wondering if there are other families out there that just didn't have the perseverance to press on like we did. So, and that's a sad commentary on our nation, that I'm proud of the fact that he's the first. I'm proud of the fact that he was awarded the Medal of Honor. I won't take anything from his actions, but it saddens me that he is the first since Vietnam. And that's been a long time. So I'm wondering, is everything accurate?
Yeah, it has been a long time. You think about Vietnam ended in 1975, I believe. And, you know, here we are, it's 2023. What would you say to maybe some family members out there that feel like their loved one deserved the medal like this, or maybe they were written up for a medal, but it was downgraded? What advice would you have for them?
Don't give up. Because in 1975, when Vietnam ended, Al was 5 years old. So if you put that into his lifespan, and he was 35 years old when he passed, that was 40 years from the time he was born to the time he passed. That was 40 years. And that was in 2005. Now you go from 2005 to 2021, when the medal was, 2022, when the medal was actually awarded to him. That's my lifetime, and I'm 64 years old. So that's a long time. So I would tell a family member, even if it was something that you heard your grandfather or your son was wounded in action and he didn't get the Purple Heart, I'd look into it. Call your congressman. We vote these people into office. I was blessed. We were blessed that we had a rookie, a novice congresswoman out of our district in Orlando who helped carry the torch. You know, I cannot ever say enough about Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy. She was there. She told us that this isn't going to be easy, but she was there from the time she said she was, and she was there in the White House with us to see the medal be awarded. So there's got to be somebody out there that can be in your corner, and not to jump the gun, but that's one of the things, the long-term things that I see for the foundation. We want to be able to look at incidences where family members might say, hey, look, I'm not trying to create a controversy, okay? But I'm trying to be a help to somebody that didn't have the support that I had. I mean, there are 10 of us. I had my brothers and sisters that say, okay, keep going. Or my nieces, my kids, they would say, Mama, you done come this far. Let's do this. My sister-in-law, whatever you want to do, let's do it. And some families may not have that camaraderie. So, you know, I want to be a voice for them to say, this is doable. Hey, there may have been something that was overlooked. We're not saying it was done on purpose, but maybe that something was overlooked. I mean, because Al was in a state of war. There was a lot of things that were overlooked, that after everything ended and when things died down, people could say, hey, look, you know, I was there. This is what happened. And I had Lieutenant Colonel then, but now General Brito, that, interceded and got affidavits because I didn't have access to servicemen. I mean, he just had a great bunch of people that were surrounded by him. I can't call every name, but I mean, there are not Jimmy Hathaways and Martin Celestines and Quentin Fendersons everywhere. But these guys from the Third ID, guys and gals from the Third ID, really rallied around my family and said, hey, look, we need to do this. And it made it so much easier.
Wow. So it literally took the community to come together and get this done.
It took the community to come together. I say now I have two families. I have a civilian family and I have an Army family. So I understand now when he would write us and say his boys or the guys, and when he would say the boys, that it meant the girls and the guys. But I understand that camaraderie that's there because you literally are putting your life in a stranger's hands. You didn't know these people from Adam when you first met them, but now you would, you trusted them, and they trusted and loved him enough that when he died, they said, we need to make this right. And they pushed me, they shoved me, they pulled me all the way. They really did. That's
really good to hear. And man, I can't put myself in your shoes. And wow, this is good because I think people really need to understand that you didn't wake up one day and your family was awarded the medal.
No,
this was a fight from start to finish. And, unfortunately, there's a lot of Medal of Honor recipients who, especially some that are living, that are older, that get it, and then people forget about them.
And that's the sad thing. I mean, we have such a rich history in this country. We are taught, I was taught, I'm old school. I know Washington crossed the Delaware. That was part of history. We were taught that. You know what I'm saying? I know about Mount Rushmore. I know I could darn near recite to you still at the age of 64 Lincoln's Gettysburg Address because we had to learn these things in part of school. And that's what I want. I know I'm not going to live forever, but I want my brother's legacy, his memory, to live forever. I want somebody to walk up to, there's a wall in our hometown. It's the Oviedo, Florida, has a memorial park. I want somebody to walk up to that wall and look at that plaque and say, hey, I remember somebody talking about this dude. That he's from Oviedo. Okay, that's Alwyn Cashe. That's a poor boy that made good out of Oviedo. There's a plaque in his honor, but this is what he did. He was selfless. He loved his guys enough to go back to try to save them. And he saved some of them, but he sent them all home. That's the exciting part.
Yeah, that's definitely powerful when you package it up like that. And speaking of his legacy, right? Because this is what it's all about, is what we're trying to do is create ways that people will know his name and not forget about him. How did it feel walking into a major department store and seeing your brother on a rack, on a shirt?
Well, because I had you, I knew it was coming. But what I did, I didn't tell any of the other family members that, okay, we've actually gone with this. You'll see this shirt. And I'll never forget my niece, my great niece, Nikki. She called me, Auntie, you get up. And I was like, what's the matter? And she was like, I saw Uncle Al's face. I walked in the Coles and I was looking at his face. She said, I just stood there and looked at the shirt. And she said, I just couldn't help but crying. And the lady asked me what was wrong. And I said, that's my uncle. That's my uncle. And I was like, are you serious? She said, I almost bought the store out trying to get a shirt for everybody. And she said, why didn't you tell me? I said, I wanted it to be a surprise. So even though I had seen the shirt and, what it was going to look like, I walked into my Tallahassee Coles. I said, well, I go there all the time. I'm just going to go there today to see is the shirt really out. I need to see. And I walked into Coles and, I did a little shopping and I looked up And I was looking at the shirt, and you kind of like, you kind of like freeze because, this is your relative. This is his image on a shirt, and it says hero. And then I walked over and I picked up the tag, and there his story was on the tag. And I was like, yeah, they got it right. This is my baby brother. This is it. It's a feeling of pride that just, and then when people started calling me saying, I need to know where the shirt is. My codes is out. Where is it? Where is it? It was so wonderful just to see the people that I knew that knew his story, that now could say. One guy told me he bought the shirt, he gave it to his cousin. He said, read this shirt. And then he Googled everything about Al, and he wore it to school that next Monday. And I mean, that's a feeling of pride that just won't go away. I'll remember that story for the rest of my life. And that's what I want people to do. I want my grandkids are in their 20, well, they range from 27 to 11. I want my great grands to be able to tell this story and say, hey, this is my great uncle. He did what he believed in. He loved his men so much, he went back to try to save their lives. He was awarded the Medal of Honor. Yes, he's Black, but he received the highest medal, the highest achievement in our country. You're not supposed to forget something like that. You're not supposed to you're just not supposed to forget that. You're supposed to know your country's history. I mean, maybe not from day one, from the first pilgrims that came over, but you're supposed to know about your country, your people. And I want people to know about him, Black, white, otherwise, because he was a soldier. And they don't see color, they see green. And that's what I want people to see. And that's why I think it's so fitting that we chose the color green for this shirt, because I want them to know Al the soldier, Al the man, Al the brother. He was important to us. He was the last leg of our family. He was the last born, but he was the first to die of our family.
That's perspective right there. That, again, America, they see his image, they know his story, but when you break it all down, he still has a family, and he's the youngest, but the first to die. That's really impactful. Wow. And you mentioned, so again, with the theme of legacy and trying to keep his name constant and what he stood for, we're now in a period where we are fortunate enough to take the idea that we talked about almost a year and a half ago.
Yes.
You want to start a foundation.
Yes.
I've never started a nonprofit. You've never started a nonprofit. But, the idea is there. We've been able to sell enough shirts that we have enough money. So our crazy idea worked. And now we're at the point where we can create this foundation. And I would like for people to hear what you've told me. Like, what do you envision that we're going to be able to do with the foundation? What do you, 5 years from now, what do you envision the foundation doing for his legacy?
Well, I want the foundation to be, it's all volunteer. And we're in the process of setting it up now. And as you said, I've never done a nonprofit before, and that's some tedious work that has to be done. And we got some guidance, and I thank God for that. But 5 years from now, I would like the foundation to, and I hope I'm around for it because I don't plan on going anywhere, it's going to be a mentorship, but I also want it to evolve into a scholarship type program where, Al was fortunate in that he had all of us. Since he was the youngest, he had all of us, from my oldest sister, my oldest brothers on down. He came from a blended family. So when I say all of us, I literally mean all of us. There was a boatload, okay? So he had mentors that he didn't know he had mentors because they were just brothers and sisters to him, since he was the youngest. And because he lost our dad when he was young, he didn't have that image, but he had older brothers and sisters that portrayed that was there for him. There are kids out there that are being lost right now. I mean, you read about it every day. Come on. Let's just put it out there. We read about it. When I was coming up, I mean, yeah, it was rough, but we fought with our fists. But nowadays, a child will go and they'll get upset and they'll grab a gun, a knife, or something like that, and then you got another mass shooting. We want to start a foundation to be a mentorship to hopefully catch some of these kids before they are too far out there, to bring them back and say, hey, it's rough. Yes. It's tough. Yes. It's not easy by no means. But if you keep just chipping away at it little by little, like he did, I mean, my brother was raised in the projects of Seminole County. That's where we come from, sort of like a modern day Jefferson's or something like that. But so we didn't have the best clothes, the latest bikes and things of that nature. But people put so much emphasis on that nowadays that it's leading a lot of kids astray, and I want to try it. I mean, you can't save the world. I wish we could. But if I could save one or two or a dozen or a couple of dozen out there that can come back and say later on and say, I was mentored in the Sergeant Alwyn C. Cashe Foundation, and now I'm a firefighter, a policeman, a nurse. Heck, you could be a bricklayer. My dad used to tell us he didn't care what you did. He said, just be the best bricklayer you could be. He said, do whatever you're going to do, like you sign your name on it. That's why I tell people I write out my whole name. I was born a Cashe. I married a White. I write out my whole name because that's my daddy's name. That's Al's name. And he wrote his name out because that's the way we were raised. We were poor, but we had each other. And I want to give people, children, and it's going to take a while. And unfortunately, yes, it does take money to do this. So hence the shirts, the hats, and things of this nature, because we've got to have a source of income, a source of revenue to make this foundation work.
Yeah. So I got a question, and this is more along the lines of, what we stand for here in Triple Nickel and why we do what we do, why I'm so passionate about helping you and your family. I feel as in the Black and brown communities, there is a distrust with civil service, particularly in law enforcement and in the military. And it's not cool. It's not popular to want to serve your country. And there is a deep patriotism that's going on in our communities. I can't put my finger on it, but how do you think that, the foundation can help with that?
Well, as you know, Al was an infantryman. He went into the infantry. He loved the infantry. We've got to get to, I mean, there are bad people in every walk of life. Okay. I am a registered nurse. And I read just the other day about a scandal in the nursing community. Okay. But you got to start finding the right people to connect with. And that's what I want to use the foundation for. If we connect with you, then I know that my connection is something positive. If I don't connect with you, then maybe we just we're not along the same path. Not meaning that what you're doing is more right or more wrong than what I'm doing, but people have got to start connecting, and you got to start building that bond of trust. Now, you can't build it overnight. I mean, I'm 64 years old and I can see that, but you got to build it day by day. Just like you pick your friends, you got to pick your personal friends. You got to pick your corporate friends, your professional friends. Just because I'm a nurse doesn't mean I get along with every nurse out there. But I have a circle of nurses that I can pull in if I need a resource. So I'm used to networking. So that's what I want the foundation to do. We want to network with various groups and organizations, some of them new, some of them old, that have proven that they want to be a help to the community. I mean, if you just want me to go out there and sing a song, I'm sorry, I'm not that politically correct. I can't do that. And anybody that knows me will tell you that. I've got to believe in it. And I believe in this. I believe in connecting with people I've seen over the last 16 years that are really out there trying to help kids, trying to help veterans succeed and make the most out of their life. I mean, if I didn't believe in Triple Nickel and what you stood for, we wouldn't have gone past that first one or two conversations, and we've been hanging out for a year and a half. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean.
No, that's true. And I really appreciate it, because it's this gives us life. It's a lot of work, but I look forward to being on the other side of it and just being proud of what we've been able to put together, really from nothing, from an idea.
Yes, nothing.
It would be really cool to be able to tell some of the stories of how we were able to, to just put all this together, going to Kohl's, having to explain to their executives who Alwyn was, why should they carry his shirt in their store versus just something generic. That was, everything has been an uphill battle, but it's worth fighting.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that's what the foundation is gonna hopefully do for, starting out with the youth in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. Last question I got for you. How does the family feel about everything that's been going on and everything we've been able to do?
They are so proud. Like I say, Al was the last of the family. So I mean, we've tried to be there as a group when we were asked. Anytime that we're asked to represent him, trust, we will be there in droves. It might take you can't call me on a Monday and say, can you be here Tuesday morning, because I still work and most of my family still works. Given enough time, we could be anywhere. We were actually fortunate enough. We've been to a couple of things to represent him. We went to Run to Home with the Red Sox. The Atlanta Hawks had us up there for their veterans game. It was very nice, and my family we were able to go out there. And of course, we flew to Washington. It was like, okay, we're going to Washington. We're going to get this medal. We were there. And the third ID came with us. We were 50 strong up there, so we were very proud.
I saw it. We watched it on TV. We had a watch party at Cortez's house, and it was so cool to see the family representing there at the White House. We were just cheering you guys on and, praying for strength, because that's tough. So I'm thankful that was materialized. Is there anything that I haven't asked that you feel led to share, that you would like to share with everyone?
No, I'm just hoping that the people that have spoken to me over the years, that, when I would mention something about the foundation, that, you pick up the phone when I call, because now the lawyer has me doing homework. I've got to get numbers and addresses of people that are ready to sit on the board and, help bring this to fruition. I just want everybody to tell his story, to let them know that I don't know if Amazon has gotten a bunch of these shirts or not, and they can sell them. I know they haven't. They're not available on Amazon. They're only available at Kohl's and on the Triple Nickel website. Please support our efforts, because the proceeds from this shirt do go to fund the foundation. It takes a lot because there are a lot of filing fees, and the government don't let you start a nonprofit for free. So, and we'll be 100% transparent. You'll see everything that we get and what goes out. I'm all about that. I'm just waiting to see what the next chapter brings.
Well, there it is. There it is, from Ms. White's mouth and from my mouth. And I thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I think it's helpful for everybody to paint a picture of where we are. I thank you for allowing us the opportunity to really represent Al's legacy. I didn't know him. I didn't serve with him, but he's still my brother. And now you're my sister. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And I look many, many years of service together. Yes.
Ma'am.